Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast for reviewing games of the Game Pass collection, bring you two unique perspectives this time around. I'm your hardcore gamer host, Andrew, and only with me today because Liz wanted to take a break and we were going to skip this episode, but me and Keith were like, you know what? We'll fill the dead air. So with me is our mediocre gamer, Keith.
Hello. Yeah. You know, we wanted to keep bringing something out here, and obviously it's not as exciting with just two of us, but we'll make the best of it. We'll do what we can.
We figured worst case scenario, people would like this maybe better than no episode. Maybe.
I mean, you know what this means, Andrew.
What does it mean?
It's you. It's me. It's a Boy Talk episode.
I'm not calling it Boy Talk. We got to come up with a better name with this.
Boy Talk is going to stick. You just watch.
I called the last episode Boy Talk. Is it just going to keep being Boy Talk? Is it going to be Boy Talk 2?
Yeah.
Or going to be like some other gaming consoles here that just don't come up with new clever names and just keep adding new numerical numbers?
No, obviously it's going to be Boy Talk 2, Return of the Boys. And Boys is definitely going to have a Z.
And that was just that was a joke and a dig at PlayStation. I actually am kind of envious that PlayStation just kept it simple and they just keep increasing the numbers. And then you got Xbox here just let's keep pulling something out. But I also think it's funny that people always kind of dig on Xbox for kind of coming up with random names, but no one digs at Nintendo. You know, we got Nintendo, then it came out with Wii, just WII, and then it came out with the Wii U, which I was confused with that. I didn't know it was a whole new console. I thought it was just like a expansion, and that's why that console didn't sell very well.
Yeah, well, I don't recall it being very good either. I mean, it was sort of just an upgraded version of the Wii, and somewhere between that and a Switch, but it wasn't really a Switch because you always needed the TV. I don't know. I didn't have one.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who had one, honestly.
My sister has one. I wasn't. My oldest stepson, he was playing the other day at my sister's house, and I was watching him play it.
The Wii U?
Yeah, you can. Weird. She still has one. That's fired up. Apparently, my nieces and nephews still play it too.
See, I knew everyone had a Wii, no one had a Wii U, and now everyone has a Switch.
The only thing I'd say is my sister and her family, they've been a Best Buy family forever. I mean, I worked there at one point too, but yeah, they all work at Best Buy, so they always have tons of electronics. So
did they become devoted to Best Buy because of you?
No, they were the one who got me. My sister was the one who got me into Best Buy.
Oh,
so yeah, I was a geek squad.
But so me and Keith figure we just bring you some news, maybe some updates on some games that we covered, some good news, some bad news. Hopefully we come up with a better name for this episode before we have to call it Boy Talk 2, Talk of the Boys, or whatever.
Well, I'm not trying to come up with any other names, so I don't think we're going to come up with a better name.
Hopefully we do. But yeah, we took a week off because the next 2 months, honestly probably more than the next 2 months, it's going to be very busy. So we kind of figured like, hey, this is probably the best time that we can maybe take a little break. But by the time this episode comes out, our next big game that this is one of my biggest excitements. I think I'm more excited for this than Redfall. But Minecraft Legends will be out on April 18th. So if you're listening to this, by the time it's out, it should already be out. I am very excited for Minecraft Legends. I don't know about you, Keith, but just something about it. To me, it's one of those like really simple like PvPs. And I'm excited for it because this is the first time there's a multiplayer game that's not super sweaty. Like I am really looking forward to just play with some people on Minecraft Legends because it's kind of a third person with like tactical RTS strategy kind of elements. And just the last trailer they had about the PvP, it got me so excited.
So I didn't watch it.
You didn't?
Shocker. No. I don't.
It came out like a month ago.
I don't know. Maybe I watched it. I'm excited for it though, just because I don't know. I like I'm trying to think of the best way to say it, but like I don't know, the universes of games that just get expanded into other genres. So like Minecraft Dungeons wasn't great, but it was good fun. I haven't picked it up since we played it, honestly, but I remember it being a good game and it was fun to play. So I like when they can take something like Minecraft just out of its traditional element and change it into something different. And then so I think the real-time strategy aspect is going to be fun of it. Like I kind of think of like Halo and Halo Wars, right? Halo's, very well-known series, but I don't know, they did a good job with Halo Wars as a real-time strategy. And it was just kind of a fun, fresh way to play the game. So I'm excited for Minecraft Legends for sure.
And as anyone known who has ever listened to this podcast, I just absolutely love like real-time strategy games. It reminds me, like, I loved Overlord back in the day on the Xbox, and I think Xbox 360 came out on. That game is super fun where you're just playing one person, you're controlling things like Pikmin's like that. There was a PvP game I played with one of my friends back in high school on the original Xbox called Goblin Commander. I gameflied that game, and it seems very much like Minecraft of like you're kind of building troops and leading an army. I don't know. I'm super excited for Minecraft Legends. That's coming out April 18th. So like I said, but when you listen to this, it'll probably be out. Another game coming out in April, Homestead Arcana. I told Liz about this, and I know she's excited for it. It looks very much like, hey, Stardew Valley, but you're a witch. So you're kind of, reviving the frontier with spells and planting and farming. I think that'll be actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at one the other day because I think they had put it on their Twitter as far as like games that are upcoming. I went, oh, that looks fun. I know, like, I don't know, there's something about a game like that's like bright and colorful that immediately, and I think weird because, this is sort of what they're going for. It just draws my eye in really quickly. I'm like, I don't know, this looks interesting. I could be into this. And when I was reading about rebuilding the world and all of that, that's the type of style of game I get into. It's the style of game, and I think Liz, if she were here, would agree with me that the one struggle I always fall into is getting distracted with the million different options of things that it's going to let me do. So
if you got to collect apples, you are collecting every apple.
No, I see. Well, I'm not quite on that. I'll start collecting like 3 apples, and then I'll come across someone who's like, oh, I also need lemons. And I'm like, well, I'm going to collect apples and lemons, but then I'm going to run out of bag space for enough apples and lemons. So then I'm going to have to go back to my base. So I'm going to have to figure out which ones I have more of, and then I'm going to keep those ones. I'm never efficient with them, but man,
that's always the funniest thing. We've played obviously numerous of these games, and every time we play them, you do not understand efficiency. I still remember my time in Porsche when we covered that game. You literally just had like one furnace, and you're just like, this took me very long to build like the simplest thing. And it's like, well, why did you build more furnaces?
Well, because then I have to keep track of like 10 furnaces, and that's too much work because then I don't know which one has one thing, and I get lost. So I love this style of games, and I don't almost understand why, because I'm so bad at them, but they can just be such a fun time sink, and usually they're just, I don't know, they're not difficult enough that you can just sit there and sink time into them.
This is just what kills me with like this podcast. I think it's so funny that we've been doing this now, 3 years? Did we pass?
We're coming on 4.
Oh crap, you're right. But I just think it's funny that like both you and Liz, I feel like you guys still do the same mistakes of all these games we play. Liz still has these same issues of like finding these glitches and crashing games and stuff. And it's just like, man, will we ever age out of it?
I got much, much better on, what was the second time we played the underwater game? Subnautica. Yeah, I was much better about Subnautica. I had multiple vehicles. I had things going on. I learned my lesson in that game, and even I think I was doing pretty well in Ark. Where I struggled in Ark is I jumped into multiplayer with you where a lot of stuff was already done, so I was just behind enough for anything to matter. Because if I recall, I was building some awesome spike walls, and there was nobody getting through our spikes.
Yeah, I think we crashed into them more than anyone.
They worked. They proved to be efficient. That's all I'm saying.
But the last big game coming out April 27th, that I know this was on top of Liz's chart for most anticipated. I think you mentioned it a lot too. Was it's The Last Case of Benedict Fox.
I do
2D,
remember talking
2D,
about it.
like Metroidvania style, Lovecraftian.
Okay.
With detective work in it.
You've resold me on it. I don't remember. It sounds like the what was the one with George Clooney, the stop motion movie. That's what I think of, even though I'm sure it has nothing to do with foxes like that does. But
plus, Oh, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, Fantastic Mr. Fox. That's
nothing
I'm just going to be
do
so
with that.
disappointed when I fire up this game and it's not Fantastic Mr. Fox and George Clooney is not a voice actor. I'm like, dang it.
I don't think there's any foxes in it either. So
That's going to be even worse. I'm going to be so disappointed because I'm going to forget by the time that we get to that game. But I'm right now very excited.
I cannot wait to pet these foxes. May is going to be a very busy and popular month for us as well. Early on in May 2nd, Redfall's coming out. That is another one of Liz's highly anticipated. I mean, it's one of mine. I'm really looking forward to Redfall. I love Arcane
everybody
Studio.
basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like one of the biggest games to be coming out this spring, I thought.
Yes, but I don't know if you heard today, there was some bad news that was released about it that Internet being Internet is, very upset about. I don't know if you saw.
I did not.
So it was announced that when Redfall comes out, there will only be a quality mode and not a performance mode. So right now the game, when it comes out, will only be locked at 30 FPS.
Okay.
Which,
I mean, I get it. It's not as buttery smooth. I understand the issue, but is it for always or is it temporary? Because if
temporary.
it's just how it releases, then who cares? Like, yeah, it stinks.
A lot of people care. I personally don't.
When I'm not saying you do, but like,
Yeah.
who cares? Especially if you're playing it on Game Pass. Like, right? You're saying that a game on day one isn't going to be its best. Now, granted, yes, I would like a game to be fully built. It would be nice, but if it works, I don't know. If it functions properly, and the worst thing I lose is a little bit of the quality that I'm gonna be able to have ultimately anyways, I don't care. I genuinely don't. And I know that you're not arguing that it should be mattering, but yeah, that's a low issue for me.
Same here.
Being able to play it, especially if it means I can play it, and if it means like, oh, it would take us 3 months to delay the game to release, and then it'll be out and it'll have quality and performance mode. Screw that. Give it to me today, and I'll just play it on the mode you have.
See, I'm 100% with you too, Keith. Because like this is mostly a single player game. Like in the multiplayer is co-op. So for me, I don't care if something's locked at 30 FPS as long as it's not a competitive multiplayer game. Because I'm with you. I'd rather play it as long as the game is stable and doesn't have bugs and isn't crashy and buggy like Cyberpunk was when it came out. I don't care. I mean, and like you said, it's on Game Pass. So it's like, I'll play it. I mean, heck, how many games go to Game Pass and game preview that are a buggy mess? But it's like, I'm glad I get to play it. Grounded, I'm glad that game was released and was just kind of fed new patches and stuff like that. I had a ton of fun with that game and I was glad it did. Valheim just hit Game Pass. That's still in game preview. Like, I think it's weird when a game comes out and as long as it gets the preview title on or something like that, people are so more lenient to it. But yeah, here Redfall comes out and it's like, oh yeah, the game's functional and you can play it. It's just locked at 30 FPS at the moment. And yeah, I see a lot of people saying delay the game until like you can get 60 FPS. I want to play the game now. I don't want to wait. If the game works, just let me play it.
Well, yeah, and especially to your point, is if it's all PvE and I'm not worried about, I don't know, sweaty competitive mode or whatever, like I don't care. I genuinely do not care. It's especially if it's actually not buggy. Like you pointed it out, Cyberpunk, and like don't give me a broken game. I don't want a broken game, but I'm fine with a, I don't know, slightly lesser version of it functionally at 100%. That's just I'm glad it's coming out May 2nd still then. But
it is weird of people saying to delay the game until 60 FPS comes out, because it's like if you are so adamant that you need a 60 FPS version, then don't play the game. Let other people enjoy it.
Is it a streamer thing? Like they don't want to stream it because it's not going to look good and it's going to be bad for their stream. And I'm like asking half facetiously, but also seriously, like, is that a thing?
I don't know. I think it's just the internet being internet, being little.
I mean, yes, we are, attempting to be online content creators as much as a streamer is. I mean, you stream your games as well sometimes, but I don't know. That just seems like a very big, like, I'm a big streamer and like I'm Ninja and I don't like that. Shut up. Except if you're listening to us and you do that, like, cool. I like you. I do. I just don't like the big annoying ones like that just decide to,
Nice backpedaling there, Keith.
No, I'm
just messing with you.
Exactly what I'm talking about.
But some other games that are coming out. May 4th, just got announced, Ravenlock. I don't know if you remember that, but that was like the third-person action, was voxel style. It kind of looked like, your young girl with a sword and shield. It looked like it was slightly Alice in Wonderland-esque.
Vaguely. I'm going to pull that one up right now because it sounds familiar, obviously, but no.
May 11th is Fuga, Melody of Steel 2, which I can't remember if I mentioned this in one of our last Boy Talks, but this was another... God, I can't believe I just called it Boy Talk. It's a really actually interesting turn-based RPG where you're playing a bunch of children that are controlling a tank, and you have to switch the children out to get different guns in order to do the battles. I played it over xCloud because xCloud, to me, the best thing about xCloud is playing these turn-based RPGs. I think xCloud is designed for them. But it's really interesting of a story because if you're losing a battle, you actually have the option to sacrifice and kill one of the children pilots that you have, permanently lose them, and use them as the soul cannon. You basically kill a child, suck up their soul, and you have an ultimate weapon to win the fight. So it's like really dark as to how you can play the game. But I actually beat it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So the second one's coming out soon. And then also May 25th, you got Railway Empire 2. That was just recently announced, which, another awesome management game. Always down for that.
Great.
And then the end of May 30th, we have... It was, I thought this was delayed, but I guess not. But Far World Pioneers. I remember all three of us were very excited for this. This was the Stardew Valley-esque, where you're farmers, but in mech suits.
Oh, yeah. This is ringing a bell now. I'm looking at survival game.
Yeah, I remember seeing when that was announced during the showcase last year. I was fully into that. I thought I love mech suits. I love farming simulators. Put them together, you got a winning combination.
Yeah, no, this looks like it could be some fun. It's all 2D. Yeah, I'll probably be terrible at it as well. But yeah.
Wait, what was 2D? Far World Pioneers?
Yeah.
Did I just do the wrong one then? I think I announced the wrong one then.
No, I mean it's like pixely. It looks like it's a survival game. So maybe not. May 30th, 2023.
Nope. Yeah, this is a completely different game. What am I thinking? It has Pioneers. Is it called? God, what was it called? I thought it was called is it like Starfront Pioneer? So, then I'm completely wrong. This is so this actually looks like Terraria.
Yeah,
Far World Pioneer is like Terraria.
That's what I was trying to think of. Delayed Lightyear Frontier.
Lightyear Frontier. That's close.
I literally just typed in mech suit farming game.
Now I feel like an idiot. Thanks for finding that, Keith.
You're welcome.
And was that delayed?
It sounds like delays early access as of March 13th with no new date or target date set.
I'm like, see, that game I'm looking forward to. See, that's when I got excited, because when I saw the names are very similar. So when I saw that Far World Pioneers, I was like, oh, is that the mech suit game? But no. Instead, it's like Terraria.
Yeah, right now it still just says initial release 2023. It doesn't have an actual date.
That makes me sad. But yeah, so we're definitely going to be holding off on listener requests because we're definitely going to be tied up with some games the next couple months. But to get into some news, so recently, we never actually covered it, but I know we did it in our last talking episode. I'm just going to call it that, Keith. Power Wash Simulator has more content coming out.
Those?
Who's talking on what?
On those episodes?
Me and you.
Oh, the boys.
The Keith and Andrew talk. But we talked about how we were playing Power Wash Simulator, and yeah, they just recently came out with the Final Fantasy VII crossover. I think, yeah, they did a Tomb Raider crossover, and they just teased that they're coming out with more DLC. So if you're into Power Wash Simulator, which I know I actually beat that game, which I forgot to mention. I think I mentioned to you when we talked about it.
You can and did beat that game. I'm not sure which one is more strange. No, I don't want to say strange.
It took a lot of time too. There's
Yeah.
a lot to clean.
There was, I mean, honestly, there was at least, I don't know, one of the levels. I felt like I was there for like an hour and a half. It was just like going.
Oh,
around,
and
like,
I did it all solo. The final level is a massive temple you got to clean.
Gosh, that sounds good. Now, is the DLC they've been releasing, is it free with Game Pass, or do you have to buy that?
Some of it was just free. I think the Tomb Raider one you paid for, and the Final Fantasy VII one was free. I might have those reversed, but they didn't say anything with this one. But when you do beat it, you get treated to a original Power Wash Simulator song, which I actually thought was really awesome.
Okay. Was it butt rock?
No, it was not. It was like indie music. It was like acoustic.
Cool. Oh, a little acoustic, a little adult listening.
I would attach to this episode, but I don't know if I get in trouble for copyright issues.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can do like less than 5 seconds or something like that, and not.
But then again, who's going to be finding this episode?
I don't know. I hear they're pretty tough over at the Power Wash Simulator place. Yeah, so here's my question then: if you could choose any game for them to do a crossover with, what would you choose?
Brutal Legends, just so they can get Jack Black in it.
Oh, I kind of like that. I do like that.
He could serenade you as you clean the car.
True. You go around like cleaning up the. You're just in hell, right? Is that where you are in Brutal Legends? I don't remember.
No, you're in the land of metal.
Oh, okay. I forgot. It's a long time ago.
And I mean, Jack Black's a hot commodity right now. He just came out the Super Mario's movie, which have you seen it yet, or do you plan on seeing it?
I would like to. I mean, I know it's getting mixed reviews, but I actually do want to see it, and I think the kids want to see it too. So
I think the only people who are giving it negative reviews are people who don't like Mario.
I don't know.
Everyone I'm seeing who enjoy Mario is like, no, this is a really good video game movie.
There's a lot of weird Chris Pratt hate.
Yeah, but everyone's saying, like, if you actually listen to it, they're like, he does a fantastic job. Everyone
I'm
says,
sure. I didn't have any doubts that he would. I like Chris Pratt. I'm not one of the people who hates him, but yeah, I know there was a lot of like, Chris Pratt's doing a bad job, and I don't know. But no, I do want to see it. It seems like there's like, I don't know, people kind of weirdly dogging on it, I guess. But other than that, it looks fun to me. And I think if you go into it, it seems with the mindset of, hey, this is going to be fun, not this is going to be a blockbuster Emmy winner? Academy Award winner. There you go. I don't know award shows.
No, I agree. And like, I love a movie like this. I don't know, did you ever see Ready Player One?
I remember it, but I don't think I watched it.
So I like it was directed by Steven Spielberg, and I like when he even came out with the movie. He said, like, this is a film, like it's not really a movie. Like he was basically telling people like this is just meant to be a fun popcorn movie. Like, don't take things too seriously or think too hard about it, because it's full of video game pop culture references, and then when you go to a movie and you're expecting that kind of level, like you have so much more fun with it. And like, that's what I expect from Super Mario, of just, it's not going to be super realistic. There's just going to be kind of goofy moments, and you can just have a ton of fun just watching it. Cause it's like, not every movie needs to be super deep and explain everything and, got to follow all the rules. It's just have fun with it.
No, and there's nothing wrong with a movie like that, obviously. But honestly, that's not generally why I watch a movie. I watch a movie because I just want something.
The sex scenes?
Well, obviously, I mean, all of those Disney movie sex scenes. But I want to just put on a movie to just, I don't know, entertain me. Yeah. I want to laugh at it. I want to enjoy the explosions. Maybe, a little butt crack action here and there. Maybe I want to enjoy all those things, but at the same time, every so often one of those really deep movies, and that's great, win all your awards, and everyone can have hour-long conversations about it. I'm just gonna have fun watching Super Mario Brothers. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, but I want to also get into some pretty bad news, unfortunately. Arc 2, since we just covered Arc 2 has been delayed to 2024. So it's got a pretty severe delay, and I guess it's because they're using Unreal Engine 5, and they're kind of having issues with it. So they ended up delaying it all the way to 2024.
That's crazy. But I wonder if that's going to be a little bit of undersell, over deliver. Like, it's going to be delayed to 2024. They say that, but realistically, maybe they, like Q1 2024, which is a whole year. That's a long time. But going back to Redfall, if it's a matter of, hey, we just can't put an actual playable game in front of you, and hey, we can't do 60 frames per second, that's kind of the difference there. It sounds like it's probably the former, where it's just they don't have an actual functional game to put out. Yeah. What was the actual release date supposed to be? I know this year, but
I think in May.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to be very soon. That's why we did Arc.
Oh,
because
right.
we had a lot of people request it, and the new one was supposed to come out. And Arc 2 is supposed to be more focused, and I think like single player-esque focused.
Right.
But that's not even the worst news. The worst news is Arc is the original servers are going to get shut down, and they're coming out with basically a Arc 1 next gen version, or I guess you could say current gen version, but it's supposed to be an updated version of the Arc game. And so the original servers are going to get shut down, and they'll be coming out with new servers for this new updated Arc. But you have to pay for it, which I think is $50. And so you'll get the updated Arc version, and I think you'll also get Arc 2. So you're also kind of pre-ordering it. But the thing that sucks is Arc 2 is a Xbox launch exclusive. So I don't think there's a PlayStation version announced yet. I'm assuming it's probably a 1-year deal. So if you're a PlayStation user, you're just really getting boned. It's like, hey, you've been playing Arc and probably spending a lot of money and time in it. Well, you can't play it anymore unless you spend $50, and then you can get to play it again. So it's not a good look. I don't know why they decided this. It's really odd. Because
if you're going to isolate a bunch of your player base like that, that's...
I know, and after we covered Arc, like, people who play this game have sunk hundreds of hours, and it will sink money too. Because, if you want to get a really good egg, like, people will sell dinosaur eggs and, like, actually charge money for it. And there's a lot of people who are forking over cash. And then it's just like all that stuff's going to be gone. I will say they did say your progress will carry over. If you're playing the original Arc to the new updated version, your progress will carry over. But it's behind a paywall. It's just a really odd choice. And I wouldn't be surprised, but I didn't see an announcement that the updated Arc version will be on Game Pass. Arc 2 is going to be on Game Pass, and Arc is currently on Game Pass, so I would expect it to hit Game Pass, but I didn't see any announcement for it.
Yeah, I thought Arc 2 was definitely coming there.
Yeah. Arc 2 definitely is, but not till 2024 now. But other fun, exciting news for both me and you, Keith. Vampire Survivor just has new DLC. Yeah, by the time you listen to this, it should already be out. It's called Tides the Viscari. And, I'm assuming you're getting this, Keith?
Yeah, and it means probably by the time that this episode comes out, I'll probably sunk another 20 hours into it. And I'll probably already beat it.
So we probably won't have another game episode next week because you'll be playing this again. I mean, this one sounds significantly bigger. There's going to be 8 new characters, 13 new weapons, 7 new soundtracks, and a new map. And I think 20 Xbox achievements.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I think the last time they had new achievements, it was like 10 of them. And it wasn't anything crazy from what I remember. It was a lot of just like, I survived 30 minutes with this character, or whatever. So
which their achievements have always been pretty basic and easy.
It's kind of, I don't think I will because I think I want to actually play it and enjoy it. But realistically, I think I have enough golden eggs in the game where I could basically just break any character at this point and probably do any of the achievements. So it's kind of the bummer. It's like a fun thing about it that they have this golden egg system that you can really just max out, and I don't know, people get trillions and I don't know, scientific notation into the 20s and all these crazy ridiculous numbers. But it's also like, I don't know, it takes a little bit of the enjoyment out of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to ruin it that way, but realistically, I'm pretty sure I could probably do it in like 2 hours.
Because that's kind of my issue with the last DLC. I enjoyed it, but at that point, I was so like far ahead that I was like, this is really easy. But I'll probably be getting it too. Because once again, this is a great thing about Ponkel with Vampire Survivors that they keep doing. I think it's $2.99 or it's $1.99.
Yeah, the last one was $1.99, I think. This one is bigger. Maybe it'll be a little bit more.
Yeah, the games are super cheap and the DLC is super cheap. It's just like, man, like how could you not justify that price point? Because you're looking at hours of content for the price of like a soda.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I actually downloaded it on my phone after we ended up playing, and I don't play it really on my phone. But I have it on there, and I just appreciate that they do it as a non-predatory ad game. Like I think everyone at this point knows, like, there's nothing worse than you download a game, it's free, cool, you play it, and every time you play it, they're like, well, here's an ad. Here's an option to watch an ad. But if you don't watch the ad, we're going to show you an ad anyways, and you don't get the bonus that you would have if you just clicked the ad.
Yep. Super you have to wait for the game to progress after 30 minutes, or you can watch an ad. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah. So the people or person over at Ponkel, whatever it may be, props to them. They're awesome because they do it right on every front, and it makes it, I guess, in a way, accessible to everybody. But I don't know. They just want to make sure they can get it to as many people as possible. And I think that's also smart too. Like with a game like that, where the word of mouth on Vampire Survivors has already been so good since it came out, that putting it into the hands of people for so cheap, it's just like, I don't know, why wouldn't I?
I know. I miss the days of like old smartphone games where things actually just cost like $1 or $2.
Yeah, you just pay $2 and you just had a game, and then
you had a game. Yeah.
Maybe every now and then they'd add a couple new features that you could upgrade it if you wanted to for another couple bucks, or they just release a new version and then that would be another $2. Like I think there was a good chunk of time. You remember the Bloon Wars games? Or maybe not Bloon Wars, but I bought all
Bloons TD?
Bloons TD, yeah. But I bought all of those games, I'm pretty sure. Up until like they started going free to play and doing all the weird stuff with that now. So yeah, I loved those games, and I would pay the $4 and I'd just have a Bloons game. It was awesome. They were a ton of fun.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But another quick update, since we just recently covered Atomic Heart, they just came out with a patch that finally fixed the achievements, because I know we were complaining about that there was a handful of achievements that just weren't working anymore.
Will it just give me them if I log into the game?
No, I tried.
That stinks.
I've still been working on Atomic Heart. I'm almost to the end. Have you picked it up anymore?
No. I was going to say I thought about it, but I never did, actually. Because also after we beat Civilization 6, well, not beat. After we finished playing Civilization 6, I think I sunk another probably 10 to 15 hours into that. I started myself a new game. I think I did just one of the other scenarios. But the scenarios, again, I know we talked about it, but they're a ton of fun. And they're like usually less than 150 rounds, I think. And like the one I actually started playing, it was... what country? I want to say like Holland. Like you were like 3 different groups of like Dutch families that were like settling Holland or something like that. And you're, I don't know, trying to prop up like certain cities based on like the little like city states that pop up. So there's actually like cool little things that you do that it's not about winning by science or religion or any of that. So you might actually, Andrew, want to go back and check those out. And you probably have more fun with it than
Oh yeah, Civilization to me is a game I always know I could just pick up. So
that's true. I know you don't dislike it, but
yeah,
I was thinking just more the scenarios.
Oh no, I remember like every time I was online, like you were always constantly playing. I'm like, man, Keith really loved this game. But it's just Civilization's just one of those games. Like if I don't know what I want to play, I can just pop it in and I'll have fun with it.
Yeah, and you can play it for 10 minutes or 10 hours, honestly. But it's such an easy game to pick up and put down just because of the turn-based nature of it. So yeah, I sunk a bunch more hours into it after that. Yeah,
but that's what's been nice about like this week where we haven't been covering a game, as I've been able to finish Chorus or Chorvs, which the ending battle was really disappointing. It wasn't bad, but it was just I was hoping for a little better. But I really liked Chorus.
I actually did pick that back up for a little bit. I was playing some. I didn't get to the end, obviously, but yeah, I started it back up after we finished it, but didn't finish. It is still fun. I liked it.
Yeah, and then I've been trying to finish, like I said, Atomic Heart. But yeah, my coworker gave me her PlayStation 4, So I just finished The Last of Us, which I've been really wanting to play that because after the TV show, I was like, I really want to play this game. And I was actually really impressed of like how close The Last of Us TV show followed the game, but was different enough that it wasn't just like, oh, I'm just watching one long cinematic essentially. It actually changed things up enough. But one thing that was very surprising, like in The Last of Us game, or no, after watching the TV show, I thought there would only be like a handful of infected people. But in the game, it's like, no, they're everywhere. Just whatever reason, the TV show, I guess, didn't want to pay the money to have more infected people on the screen. But no, I had a lot of fun with Last of Us. But
at this point, couldn't they just not even CGI, but like, I don't know, AI them or something?
That actually is true. Yeah, just AI created some monsters. There we go.
Yeah. Well, what was that? What was that one? I think your brother had sent it the other day. I don't know. It was a recent. They were showing off one of the new engines, and how they like basically created just a small section of the map, and then the AI generated the rest of it, just based on that.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was wicked cool. It was in conjunction with a car company.
Huh.
I'll have to see if I can find it and post it maybe like on our page or something. It was really cool. And like, so, cause I was thinking about it, right? So they built this like small section of a map and then they just gave it to the AI to build the rest of this much larger map. Like, think of how you could like turn that into a roguelike so easily, right?
I think that's your first thought. You're like, how can I get a roguelike out of this?
Well, right. I mean, they're already procedurally generated. So throw like an intelligent AI behind it. It could be like creating weapons on the fly. It could be creating, monsters or enemies on the fly, like within the confines of certain things. It just creates you almost like a new game every time you play it. It would make it hard to strategize because it would be ever changing like that. But how cool would that be?
How far away do you think we are from a fully created AI game?
I mean, from the sounds of that, I would say 5 years or less. And,
yeah,
and
I'd say
5
years.
I'd say 5 years honestly seems just like, I don't know, that's a safe answer.
I feel like 2 years. AI technology stuff is going so quick. I remember when like the first like ChatGPT just came out. Yeah, it very much was super basic of just like, it was honestly just like an Alexa or Siri of just like you ask it a simple question. But now like today it's insane of like how much it generates. And then the AI art first of all, the realistic pictures that it would try to create were very realistic until you saw like hands and stuff like that. They always had like 6 or 7 fingers, but it's already gotten a world of a difference of like improvement. I would not be surprised if we have an AI created game within like 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like it was, I don't know, maybe not the exact time frame, but I want to say somewhere around like the beginning of COVID, just as like a reference point. Like, I don't know, the beginning of 2020, that website, this face does not exist or whatever, was like coming up. It was like, whoa, this is this cool thing. Like, and like, this, I don't know, kind of weird existential thing is looking at people. They're like, that looks like a real person. They don't exist.
I forgot about
still
that
kind of
website.
weirds me out a little bit, but at the same time, that was like the early kind of baby of AI creating things, and now it's just, I don't know, 3 years later, 2 years later, it's already doing just so much bigger things that you're probably right. 2 years is probably much more realistic, but I don't know. I wonder how good it will actually be.
And I'm also curious, who gets paid for that? If an AI fully creates a game and then you're buying that game,
whoever created the AI that did it,
I don't know,
and then licensing the engine that it's built on, so like Unreal, I don't know. I mean, there was that
free.
There was like that AI rapper that got racist and then it got canceled. It was like it got signed to a deal. I'm not even joking. Like I read it.
No, that was like all of them. Do you remember there was a Twitch channel?
Yep, there was the Seinfeld Twitch channel.
Yeah, that it got like transphobic, and it's like got shut down real quick.
Yeah, these AI, I don't know. Maybe they're not so good. Maybe we should really think about reeling them in a little bit, because it seems like they always go to really dark places, and I don't think that's ideal.
I know, because like that's the thing. It's like it's only a matter of time till someone gives one a gun, and goes real racist or just starts hating people, and we got Terminator all over again.
Yeah. So then it figures out time travel. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. But I also wanted to cover some other games that we've been playing this past week. Just recently, I really want to make this announcement because I've been freaking loving it. And you got it. Honestly, Keith, you got to get it. But Inscription, it just hit Xbox. It's been on Steam. I think it's been out for about a year now. And I think it's been on PlayStation as well. But it just hit Xbox. And I heard a lot of good things about this game. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to get it. It's $20. Highly recommend it. It's a card game, roguelike, but it is just awesome. The aesthetic of the game is just super cool. I'm gonna try not to explain too much. I want to explain this game, but I don't want to say too much because there's a lot of just meta things that are going on in the game that are just like, it's this puzzle that you're kind of unwrapping, and it's just the card mechanics are very basic. You know, you have these creatures. You know, some of them need to have a blood cost, so you need to sacrifice another creature in order to play it. Really simple. You just got to get 5+ more damage to the enemy than he's doing to you. So it's a scale system. You know, if you take 2 hits, then you got to do, a total of 7 damage to the guy to win. So it's really basic, but just the meta and the story in the game, I am loving so much. I knew I would enjoy the game because I love card games. You know, I grew up playing Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! So I was like, okay, card game, roguelike. Yeah, it is awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Like Slay the Spire type of card game?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
yeah. Different in how it plays, but like...
Yes, very
that
similar.
Type of
because
deck building, not like... Because I don't know Magic the Gathering, but I know enough as far as like... You have to like lay down certain cards to play other cards and things like that, right? Like, is it that style of cards, or more just like when I say Slay the Spire, I'm thinking like you can just play whatever, and it's about trying to play the right strategy of them.
It's a little more like Magic the Gathering, so you don't have like mana or anything like that. But like I said, some creatures have a cost, so some of them are free, and you can kind of play them down. They're obviously pretty weak. You can normally get a squirrel card, which is free. They obviously don't do much. Their main purpose is to essentially be sacrificed, because some cards have a blood cost. So if it has 2 blood drops on it, you need to sacrifice 2 creatures in order to summon the card. And then eventually you get some creatures that have a bone cost, and that's every time one of your creatures die, you get a bone token. So you got to play those creatures by having a lot of your monsters die. So it's interesting of how you're kind of building your deck. But it definitely feels a lot more strategy-based than it does random number generator, which a lot of roguelikes can be like. So you're not building a massive deck. You're just kind of gathering cards as you're playing. And like I said, the game is just so meta, and it just keeps kind of switching on itself. But it's awesome. It's really kind of dark. You know, the whole purpose, you're in this cabin, and you're playing with this kind of demonic figure. You can't see him. He's in shadows. You just see his eyes. And he's essentially kind of like a dungeon master where he's explaining the story, and you're traversing this map, the map is kind of like Slay the Spire, where you're kind of choosing your routes, and you kind of see, oh, if I take this route, I'll hit this and this and this, these points of interest. So you are kind of picking your path, and, this person is laying out, this adventure for you, but sometimes he'll cheat to kind of get you to lose. And if you end up losing, you end up going, I don't want to spoil much more, but it's the aesthetic of the game is just awesome. I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, I mean, the roguelike card-based aspect of it definitely has my attention. What is it, like $20 you said?
$20, yeah. Unfortunately, there was no discount for being like a Game Pass subscriber. I didn't see if it would hit Game Pass. It's published by Devolver, which, a handful of Devolver games go to Game Pass.
Yeah, like Loop Hero, for example. That's a Devolver game.
Yep, and that's another roguelike that we've been playing.
Yeah, that was a nice little transition. That wasn't even on purpose.
Okay, I figured that's what you're trying to do. That's enough, Andrew.
You've talked enough death about Inscription. Let's talk about a game I can play. Or I did play. Loop Hero.
We figured to talk about Loop Hero a little bit because we weren't sure we were going to do a episode on it because it's really simple. I actually saw this game because another podcast, Aaron and Tommy Super Pod Saga, they actually mentioned on our Twitter that, he played like 100 hours of it on Steam. But Loop Hero, really, really simple. Keith, as the roguelike expert, tell us about it. What do you think of it?
So, the thing about Loop Hero, it doesn't even outright call itself a roguelike. I mean, I guess it does if you look at the description, but it's not super. Well, no, it doesn't.
What other way can it do it? You never boot up a game and says this is a roguelike.
Well, no, it talks about being like a strategy based with the building the land and things like that. But it's, I don't know, it's pretty obvious in the name Loop here that you're going to be getting a roguelike. But what I like about it is I don't want to say it's not your usual roguelike, but it feels different in the aspect of for one, it's kind of an auto battler. Yeah. So you get these cards as you play through, and you get to place them around the map and kind of build the world around you. And as you do that, you're picking up items, prove your character's stats, etc., etc. And then you take all of the things you earn on each run and spend them. Typical roguelike. But it's the kind of world building aspect that I like to it. But you and I were talking about it last night, Andrew, and the thing that I do hate is it's so heavily on the RNG.
Yeah.
So when you're building your deck, you can limit, you have to have a certain amount of cards of each certain tiers, and I don't know how they tier them, but you have to have certain cards but not go over certain cards, and that's all fine. I built a very minimalist deck, and I was still just not seeing certain cards in that deck ever. And it's just I get that it may be a lower spawn rate, but when you have next to no cards coming out of your deck, it should populate more than it does. So it's one of the things that I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm already fading on it. I've probably already put a good 15 plus hours into it if I were to bet. I think I've unlocked all of the characters. So there's a warrior, a rogue, and a necromancer. The necromancer's a ton of fun. Just spawns a bunch of skeletons that you can improve. But I don't know, it starts to get super grindy, and that's sort of where I'm at right now. And it's fun, but the premise of the game is that your character just runs in a loop around the set map, or set path, and each loop gets progressively harder. And I always go one loop too many, which I get is the point of it, but it tricks me every time. And that's kind of my other thing that annoys me is you'll breeze through. You're like, this is so easy. And then out of nowhere, it just flips a switch and you just die. So,
but you at least still get some of your rewards.
You do. You die. And as you go through, you can unlock more things to have revives and take everything with you, even if you die, I think. So there's ways around all that. But yeah, I think my best tip if you're going to play it is, if you're getting higher up there and you have a bunch of stuff, don't feel like there's any shame in just retreating at the end of a loop. And that
loop 6 or 7, I noticed to be kind of a sweet spot.
Yeah, 6 and 7 seems to be it. I think I've made it past 8 once, but I've still yet to fight a boss, so I don't really know.
So you give it a game?
Yeah, I definitely say it's a game. It's not the best roguelike, but if you like roguelikes, it's a fun experience, and it's worth checking out for sure. Because I don't know, it's small, so it downloads quick. And actually, too, this is another game awesome on cloud. It's pretty much constantly auto-saving, and even if it doesn't for 30 seconds, a minute, you really don't lose much.
The runs are quick.
I was cheesing it a little bit, actually, even just playing on my console. Is I was so close to the end of a loop and I kept dying at the last battle. I found I could just exit the game and reboot it, and it would let me fight the last battle. And I finally crit one time enough to get past it and finish my loop. So, you can do that. But realistically, it's a great cloud game. One of our friends was talking about it. He said, "Oh, this would be great if it were a mobile game." And well, lucky you can boot it right up on your phone and play it on the cloud, and then it's a mobile game. So yeah, I would definitely check out Loop Hero, especially if you're like me and you're itching for a new roguelike.
Yeah, I agree. I'd give it a game. The thing I mostly have been enjoying about it is the story. It actually is a pretty decent story of the world's disappearing. People are losing their memory. And so that you're essentially trying to rebuild the world by doing these loops and getting these town cards and rebuilding the map. Yeah. So I mostly like it for the story, but I do find it a bit repetitive, but it's super simple and easy to pick up and put down because you're doing a whole lot of nothing, just kind of placing stuff and changing your equipment. But give it a check, give it a try. I like it. But I think we'll wrap it up here, Keith. Unless you got anything else to add.
No, I mean, we play other games, I guess, but let's keep it a Game Pass. except for when you talked about Last of Us and Inscription for a while. But we'll keep it to Game Pass.
I just would like, I just thought people would enjoy some other things that we're enjoying,
I'm not saying they don't, but you don't let me enjoy Boy Talk, so I gotta not enjoy things that you enjoy.
Hopefully by the time I edit this, I come up with a better name.
I don't care if you do. I'm only gonna call it Boy Talk. And don't forget that I have access to our Twitter account too. So no matter what you post, I will make sure that Boy Talk gets out there.
All right, everyone. So we'll wrap it up here. If you have any game suggestions, please give them to us. We may, like I said, probably delay a little bit since these next couple of months are going to be pretty busy. But if you would like, you can email us at gamepassgraphic@gmail.com. Or if you just want to write a letter and say hi. We always like hearing from you all. You can find us at our Twitter, Facebook, GBGBpod. I'm on Xbox Live at Firebird0952.
I've been Keith. Probably if you want to recommend a game, and basically if you just want a free shout out, just recommend one of the games that we talked about because we're going to play them anyways. Then we can just say you recommended it. And
there you go. And Keith will give you a rating.
I will. And if you don't want to do that, like Andrew said, just send us an email and just say, hey, give us a shout out. And I've said it before, as long as it's not something that'll get me in trouble because, it's like racist or just outright mean or something. I don't know. Maybe say something stupid if you want. I don't care. I have little to no shame. So
yeah, do shout out to you and maybe a friend. Write us a message and we'll read it out.
Exactly. So that'll be my thing. And then too, just I don't know. I'm trying to push our Discord. I think kind of because I think we could have a Boy Talk channel where girls are allowed to. Anyone's allowed really, but we're just gonna call it Boy Talk because Boy Talk is awesome.
God, I hate it so much.
Boy Talk is for everybody, Andrew.
Not just the boys. All right, everyone. We love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Bye.